Welcome to the channel. What if I told you that some of the smallest coins in your pocket could be worth thousands of dollars? In this video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable Lincoln cents ever minted, coins so rare, they've turned pocket change into pure gold. Let's dive in and uncover these hidden treasures. Number 1. Most people walk right past a penny on the ground. They think it's just 1 cent. Not worth the effort to bend down and grab. But what if I told you that a single penny, especially a 1960 Lincoln cent, might be hiding something extraordinary? What if that small copper coin in your hand held a secret that could change your life? Let's take a journey through time, into the world of the Lincoln cent. A coin that's more than just a piece of spare change, it's a piece of American history. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909. It was created to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Before that, U.S. coins never featured real people. But Lincoln, known for his leadership during the Civil War and the emancipation of slaves, was different. He became the first real person ever honored on American currency. And the public loved it. The original Lincoln cents were struck in solid copper. For decades, they remained mostly unchanged, until 1982, when rising metal prices forced a change. After that, pennies were no longer made of solid copper. Instead, they were made with a cheaper zinc core and coated with a thin layer of copper. But the pennies made before that transition? They still hold a certain weight and a lot of collector interest. Now, let's zoom in on one special year, 1960. The 1960 Lincoln penny might look like any other coin, but it hides one of the most fascinating stories in the world of coin collecting. This was a year of change, experimentation, and rare varieties that still keep collectors on their toes today. In 1960, something unusual happened. The U.S. Mint struck 2 different versions of the penny that year. One had a large date, with the numbers on the front clearly spaced and bold. The other had a small date, more tightly printed and with thinner numbers. At first glance, it may not seem like a big deal. But to a coin collector, that small difference means everything. And it gets even better. Some of the 1960 small date pennies were struck in Philadelphia. Others came from the Denver Mint and carry a tiny D mint mark beneath the date. But here's the twist: certain combinations of the small date and the Denver Mint mark are incredibly rare. In fact, finding one in high condition is like striking gold. You might be wondering, why are some of these pennies worth so much? It comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. In the world of numismatics, these are the 3 pillars that can turn a common coin into a valuable collectible. Certain mint errors, like doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or those small date/large date mix-ups, are especially prized. Combine that with a sharp, uncirculated condition, and suddenly, you're holding something truly special. Collectors have paid serious money for these coins, not because they're made of precious metal, but because of their story and scarcity. A 1960 penny pulled from an old coin jar might look ordinary. But if it's the right variety, and if it's been preserved well, it could be a hidden treasure. So where do you find these rare Lincoln cents? You don't have to be a professional to start your search. The first step is simple: check your change. Look closely at the pennies you get at the store or the ones sitting in your kitchen drawer. You'd be amazed at how many rare coins turn up in everyday life. Next, visit local coin shops. Talk to collectors. Go to coin shows. These places are full of stories, knowledge, and sometimes, opportunity. You can also use online resources to learn how to identify varieties and study high-resolution photos of rare coins. And if you think you've found something special, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. They'll authenticate and grade the coin, which can make all the difference when it comes time to sell or trade. Remember, condition is key. A rare variety in poor shape might still be interesting, but a rare variety in pristine, uncirculated condition? That's where the real money is, and this is what makes collecting Lincoln cents so thrilling. It's the hunt. It's the chance that a coin you've had for years, forgotten in a jar or a drawer, might turn out to be something remarkable. People all across America have found rare Lincoln cents worth thousands, sometimes in places as simple as pocket change, inherited collections, or dusty boxes of coins at garage sales. These aren't myths. They're real stories. Stories of sharp-eyed individuals who took the time to look a little closer. So now, it's your turn. The next time you see a penny, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Look at the date. Look for the mint mark. Ask yourself, is this just 1 cent, or is this something more? Because hidden among the millions of pennies out there are still a few that could be worth a small fortune. And just so you know, that humble little 1960 Lincoln cent? The right one, in the right condition, could sell for anywhere between $6,800 and $74,000. It's not just a penny. It's a piece of history. And maybe, just maybe, it's your ticket to a rare and valuable discovery. Now go check your change. Number 2. How much value can a single penny hold? Most of us have walked past one lying on the sidewalk without giving it a second thought. It's just a cent, right? But what if I told you that one of those tiny copper coins, specifically a 1970 Lincoln cent, could be worth more than a brand new car, even more than some people's yearly salary? That's right. Buried in your change jar, hiding in your pocket, or quietly sitting in an old collection box could be a coin with a secret. Let's uncover the hidden power of the 1970 penny, and why collectors across the country are still on the hunt for it today. The Lincoln cent has been around since 1909. It was introduced to honor one of America's greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln, marking the 100th anniversary of his birth. This was the first time a real person appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. Until then, coins bore symbolic figures like liberty, but Lincoln changed everything. His portrait became iconic, not just for what it represented, but for the shift it signaled in American coinage. For decades, the Lincoln cent was made from solid copper. These coins were built to last and had a rich, warm tone that became instantly recognizable. But in 1982, the price of copper became too high, and the mint had to make a change. From then on, pennies were made with a cheaper zinc core, plated with a thin layer of copper. That change made pre-1982 pennies, like the ones from 1970, more interesting to collectors. They're heavier, purer, and part of the classic era of American coin minting. Now let's zoom in on the star of this story, the 1970 Lincoln cent. At first glance, it looks like any other coin. Lincoln's familiar profile is there. The date is clear. Nothing unusual, or so it seems. But in reality, 1970 was a fascinating year for penny production. That year, the San Francisco Mint created a rare and highly sought-after variety, known to collectors as the 1970s small date. This particular version has smaller, more compact numbers in the date than its regular-sized counterpart. What makes it valuable is how few are made, and how hard it is to find in top condition. Some even show what's called a double die, where the date or other parts of the design appear slightly double due to a misalignment during minting. This type of error turns a regular penny into a collector's dream. The 1970s small date penny is one of those hidden gems in the world of numismatics. If you're lucky enough to find one, especially with a doubling error, you're holding something truly special. But why are these coins so valuable? The answer lies in scarcity and demand. Not all 1970 pennies are rare, but certain varieties, like the small date, the double die, and those in uncirculated condition, are incredibly tough to find. Coin collectors love a challenge. They chase after the coins that slip through the cracks, the ones the average person didn't notice, the ones that tell a story. You see, some coins become rare not because of how many were made, but because of how few survived in pristine condition. A penny from 1970 that's been tossed around in pockets for decades might still be interesting, but it's the untouched, mint-state examples that command attention. Now you might be wondering, how can you get your hands on one of these rare pennies? It all starts with paying attention. Start by going through your own change. Yes, it sounds simple, but people really do find valuable coins in everyday circulation. Then, expand your search. Visit coin shops in your area. Attend local or national coin shows. Talk to dealers. You never know when someone might have a rare variety tucked away in a box. Learn how to tell the difference between a small date and a large date. Study images of genuine errors. Read articles from trusted sources, and when in doubt, send your find to a professional coin grading service. These experts can tell you exactly what you have and assign a grade that determines its market value. Coin grading is more than just a label. It's a key part of the coin's identity. A rare coin in poor condition might be interesting, but a rare coin in high-grade condition? That's where the real value lies, and there's something magical about the hunt. Thousands of collectors, young and old, are out there searching through rolls of pennies, hoping to uncover a treasure. Some have even found these valuable coins in the most unexpected places, inside old piggy banks, at estate sales, or in inherited collections passed down through generations. It's not just about the money. It's about the thrill, the adventure, the satisfaction of discovering something rare that most people overlooked. So, here's your invitation: go on a treasure hunt. Dig through that jar of change sitting on your dresser. Check the pennies you get back at the grocery store. Learn what to look for, and stay curious. Because hidden among those coins might be a 1970 penny that's far more valuable than anyone ever imagined. And just so you know, that humble 1970 Lincoln cent? The right one, in the right condition, has sold for anywhere between $4,570 and $63,000. It's not just a penny. It's a mystery, a challenge, and maybe, just maybe, the start of your very own coin collecting journey. Go find it. Number 3. Every day, millions of pennies pass through our hands. They're dropped into tip jars, tossed into change trays, or forgotten at the bottom of drawers. Most people never stop to think twice about them. But what if one of those ordinary-looking coins, specifically a 1971 Lincoln cent, was far from ordinary? What if it held a secret that could turn a simple 1-cent piece into a small fortune? That's the power of pennies. And today, we're diving into the incredible story behind one of the most overlooked yet potentially valuable coins in American history, the 1971 Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent has a legacy that goes back over a century. It was first struck in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, and it marked a major turning point in U.S. coin design. Before Lincoln appeared on the penny, American coins only featured symbolic figures like Lady Liberty. But Lincoln was different. His image represented leadership, unity, and change. And for the first time ever, a real person was immortalized on everyday currency. The original Lincoln cents were made from nearly pure copper. That rich, reddish tone and heavier feel made them unmistakable. They were produced this way for decades, all the way up until 1982, when the rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to switch to a cheaper copper-plated zinc composition. That change created a clear divide in penny collecting. Pre-1982 copper cents are often seen as more desirable by collectors, and the 1971 penny is part of that era. Now let's talk about the D in the 1971 penny. That small letter just below the date stands for the Denver Mint, where this particular version of the Lincoln cent was struck. Denver produced hundreds of millions of pennies that year, but not all of them were created equal. Believe it or not, some 1971 Lincoln cents are hiding rare and valuable traits that make them stand out in the world of numismatics. In some rare cases, 1971 pennies exhibit what collectors call a doubled die. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice slightly out of alignment during production. On the 1971 cent, this doubling may appear on the date, the word Liberty, or even in Lincoln's profile. When visible, it gives the coin a unique look, and when authentic, it can make the value skyrocket. Other rare errors include off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks, where the D was stamped more than once in slightly different positions. These imperfections weren't supposed to happen. That's what makes them valuable. And here's where things get exciting. Most people have no idea that these error coins exist. They'll look right past them, spend them without a second glance, or toss them into a change jar. That's why the 1971 penny remains one of the hidden treasures in American pocket change. Now, let's talk about what makes a Lincoln cent truly valuable. It's not just the date or the mint mark. It's the combination of rarity, condition, and desirability. A 1971 D penny that's been circulated and scratched up? Probably not worth much. But a rare variety in near-perfect condition? That's a different story entirely. Collectors pay top dollar for high-grade examples. And the reason is simple: so few of them exist. Most coins get beat up in circulation, thrown into vending machines, dropped on sidewalks, or buried in couch cushions. But every now and then, someone stumbles across one that looks almost brand new. And if it happens to be a rare era variety? Jackpot! So, how do you find these hidden gems? Start by looking at your own pocket change. Seriously. Many valuable coins have been discovered by people simply checking the coins they receive at the store. You can also buy rolls of pennies from the bank and search through them one by one. It takes time, but the reward can be worth it. Next, visit coin shops and coin shows. Talk to collectors. Ask questions. Learn the signs of a genuine error. Some of the best discoveries are made by people who took the time to learn the basics. Online resources and video guides can teach you how to spot doubled dies and mint mark varieties. And when you think you've found something special, send it to a coin grading service for professional authentication. This step can make or break the coin's value. Coin grading services assign a numerical grade to your coin based on its condition, which directly impacts what it's worth. A rare 1971 D penny in poor condition might bring in a few dollars, but the same coin in mint state? That could be a life-changing find. Across the country, collectors have found rare Lincoln cents in the most unexpected places: garage sales, inherited collections, even from loose change at a fast food counter. These are real stories. And there's no reason you can't be next. So here's your challenge. The next time you get change, don't ignore the pennies. Flip them over. Check the date. Look for that little D under the year 1971. Pay attention to the details, because one small mistake at the mint could become your big break. And just to give you an idea of what's at stake, the right 1971 D Lincoln cent, one with the perfect error, in the perfect condition, has sold for anywhere between $10,000 and $68,000. Yes, you heard that right. It's not just a penny. It's a piece of American history. It's a puzzle. A mystery. A potential goldmine hiding in plain sight, so go ahead. Start looking. The next great Lincoln cent discovery could be right there in your pocket. Number 4. It's easy to overlook a penny. It's the smallest denomination in American currency, and for many people, it's more of a nuisance than a treasure. But here's the truth. Some of the most valuable coins in the United States started off as humble 1-cent pieces. And among them lies a fascinating contender, the 1981 D Lincoln cent. At first glance, the 1981 D penny looks like any other. It's brownish red, small, and bears the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln. But beneath that modest surface lies a coin steeped in history, and for a lucky few, possibly a ticket to a surprising fortune. Let's rewind for a moment to understand just how significant the Lincoln cent really is. First minted in 1909, this coin was introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a groundbreaking move. Before Lincoln, no real person had ever appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. His image marked a shift from allegorical figures to actual history, setting the tone for modern American coinage. From its inception through 1981, the Lincoln cent was composed primarily of copper, giving it that distinctive weight and tone. But everything changed in 1982. Due to the rising cost of copper, the U.S. Mint made the decision to switch to a less expensive composition, copper-plated zinc. That change wasn't just economic, it created a clear line in the eyes of collectors. Copper cents, especially those from the last years before the transition, have since become increasingly desirable. That makes 1981, and more specifically the 1981 D penny, part of a pivotal chapter in coin history. The D, under the date, stands for the Denver Mint, which struck hundreds of millions of pennies that year. But as any coin collector will tell you, quantity doesn't tell the full story. It's the details, the minting quirks, and the rare errors that turn a common coin into a prized collectible. You see, not all 1981D Lincoln cents are created equal. Some carry unique flaws from the minting process that make them incredibly valuable. One such error is the doubled die, where parts of the design, like the date or the word Liberty, appear slightly duplicated. It's a subtle effect, but once you know what to look for, it's unmistakable. Another prized variation is the repunched mint mark, where the D was struck more than once in slightly misaligned positions, creating a ghost-like doubling effect. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, and even rare examples of full red coins that have never lost their original luster. The more dramatic the error, or the better the coin's condition, the more collectors are willing to pay. But here's the part that makes this truly exciting. Most of these rare coins are still out there. They're not locked away in museum vaults. They're hiding in plain sight, in change jars, junk drawers, bank rolls, and pocket change. The 1981D penny is one of those coins that people overlook daily, unaware that they could be holding something incredibly valuable. So, what makes a Lincoln cent valuable beyond just a rare error? It all comes down to condition and scarcity. Coin collectors use a grading scale to assess how well a coin has been preserved. A heavily circulated penny with scratches and wear might be worth face value, but a pristine example, with full red color and sharp detail, that's a different story altogether. Some of the most sought-after 1981D pennies are those that have remained untouched by time, never dropped, never rubbed in pockets, never exposed to the elements. These mint-state examples are the cream of the crop, and while finding one isn't easy, it's not impossible. Start by checking your change. Carefully inspect every 1981D penny you come across. Use a magnifying glass to look for doubling on the date or mint mark. Learn the differences between a common penny and one that could be worth far more. You can also buy rolls of pennies from banks and sort through them. It might take hours, but many coin hunters swear by this method. You never know what might be hiding in a roll. Coin shops and shows are also great places to explore. Talk to dealers. Study real examples. See what professional-grade coins look like up close, and if you think you've found something valuable, don't guess, get it graded. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and NGC can authenticate your coin and give it an official grade. That's often the difference between a few dollars and a major payout. Across the United States, stories have surfaced of everyday people discovering rare pennies in the most unexpected places: an old purse, a relative's coin jar, or even a yard sale. These are real finds by real people, proving that treasure doesn't always come in gold bars or dollar bills. Sometimes, it's hiding in the form of a penny from 1981, so why not start your own hunt? Your next piece of change could be more than just a coin. It could be a glimpse into history, a collector's dream, or maybe even a small fortune. Because yes, the right 1981D Lincoln cent, especially one with a rare error or in perfect condition, has been known to sell for anywhere between $2,800 and $57,000. That's the power of pennies, so take a closer look at your change. You might be one coin away from a story you'll never forget. Number 5. Most people see a penny and think, nothing. It's tossed in a change jar, dropped in parking lots, or left at the bottom of a purse. But what if I told you that one of the most common pennies ever minted, the 1967 Lincoln cent, could actually be a hidden treasure? You heard that right. The coin that's been sitting quietly in drawers for decades might just be worth a small fortune. But before we dive into what makes the 1967 penny so special, let's take a step back and understand the legacy of the coin that carries Abraham Lincoln's profile. The Lincoln cent made its debut in 1909, crafted to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was a monumental change in American coinage. Before Lincoln, no U.S. coin had ever featured a real person. His face replaced the classic imagery of Lady Liberty, marking a new era of commemorative coin design. And Americans loved it. For over a century now, Lincoln's image has remained on the 1-cent coin, surviving war, recession, political change, and even coin redesigns. Through it all, the penny has become a part of daily American life. Up until 1982, these Lincoln cents were made almost entirely of copper, 95% to be exact. And that detail is important. In 1982, the U.S. Mint decided copper was too expensive and switched to a cheaper blend of copper-plated zinc. So any Lincoln cent made before that date, including the 1967 penny, is rich in copper and carries more collector interest. Now, the 1967 penny has a story all its own. That year, the Mint made a bold move. Due to a coin shortage and changes in coin production, the U.S. Mint decided not to include mint marks on any of its coins in 1965, 1966, or 1967. So even though the coins were being produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, none of them bear a PD or S on the surface. This makes identifying rare varieties a challenge, but also more exciting. While hundreds of millions of 1967 pennies were produced, a handful of them are far from ordinary. Some were struck with noticeable errors, doubled dies, off-center strikes, die breaks, or misaligned hubs. These mistakes occurred during the minting process, creating coins with unique flaws that collectors crave. A 1967 penny with a strong doubled die, especially on the date or Lincoln's eye, can fetch surprising prices. Other errors, like a blockage or struck through grease error, are even rarer, and don't forget condition. Even without an error, a 1967 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition can be highly desirable. Most coins from that era were used and abused, pocketed, passed around, scratched, and worn down. But if you find a 1967 cent that still gleams with its original red copper luster and has razor-sharp details, you might be holding something special. So how do you find these coins? Start with the change in your pocket. Seriously, many people have found valuable coins in their everyday transactions. That old jar in the kitchen or the pile of change in your car? Those could be treasure chests. You can also purchase bank rolls and search through them. Some collectors buy boxes of pennies, hunting for rare dates, errors, or red gems hiding among the dull coins. Don't overlook garage sales, flea markets, or estate sales either. You'd be surprised at how often people give away coins without realizing their worth. Coin shops and shows are another excellent resource, not just for buying, but for learning. Dealers can help you understand grading, spot varieties, and even share their own stories of wild finds. And once you think you've found something interesting, don't guess. Use magnification. Compare it to known examples. Study pictures online. And if you really think it's a winner, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Having your coin graded and certified can make a huge difference in its value. It's important to understand the grading scale. A coin in good condition might not be worth much, but the same coin in mint state 67 red could fetch hundreds or even thousands. Color, strike, and preservation all matter. Across the country, coin enthusiasts are constantly finding hidden gems. Ordinary people, with a sharp eye and a little knowledge, have discovered small fortunes in the most unexpected places. Some of the greatest finds started with a single penny, just like the 1967 Lincoln cent, and now, you know the secret. The next time you see a penny lying on the ground or pass back as change, don't ignore it. Pick it up. Look closely. Because the right 1967 Lincoln penny, especially with a rare error or in top-grade condition, has been known to sell for between $4,880 and $62,000. That's right. A coin most people toss aside could be worth more than a luxury vacation, or even a brand new car, so why not start your own treasure hunt today? Your next valuable coin could be hiding right under your nose, because when it comes to the Lincoln cent, especially the 1967 penny, every coin has a story. And some stories are worth a fortune.